Excuse me. Pardon me.
Hey, sit down.
So I don't know if I have like a number one favorite of everything from 2013, but there's definitely a handful of movies that I really, really liked. Like I really liked Her, I really liked Gravity, I really liked Upstream Color, I really liked Nebraska. Those are probably my top favorites of the year, but I don't know if any of those would be number one more than any of the other ones. And there's a whole bunch that I still have to see too that I still haven't seen yet. I haven't seen 12 Years a Slave, I haven't seen Wolf of Wall Street, I haven't seen American Hustle, so there's still some that I should probably see before I probably say which one's my absolute favorite. But those are some that I really, really liked, and I'd highly recommend all of those for anybody who hasn't seen any of them.
Although it's definitely not the best movie I saw all year, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty really stands out as a film that just made me feel good. The optimism of the film is kind of rare in the movies that I see. I tend to see really just sad, heart-wrenching, disturbing, depraved films. And so to see The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, which is just so happy on every level, and it has this reverence for humanity and the planet Earth and all of these things. It just made me happy, and it was nice. I enjoyed being in the theater in a way I generally didn't. It wasn't even just because it was funny, because I saw some other really funny films, but it's that its heart was so far into the it's gonna be okay, sort of version of the world. Like, really, nothing bad happens. Even the things that aren't really good turn out to be for the best. Like, there's really no problems. While that could be seen as a negative, I really think it's a positive. There aren't enough films like it.
So my favorite film of 2013 is The Wolf of Wall Street. The Wolf of Wall Street's a lot like chocolate cake. You're not supposed to eat it. It's not good for you. But the more you eat it, the more you take bites, the more its effect sinks in. It's tantalizing. It's sweet. It's savory. It's you. Every time you take a bite, you want to keep going. You want to see more, and you want to eat more of it. You want to dissolve more of this film. And The Wolf of Wall Street, it's baked in such a way to where it's such a delicious recipe, yet you're supposed to feel guilty. It's so weird. It's like packed with so much junk. You kind of have to feel guilty for enjoying the movie, but at the same time, it doesn't, you're supposed to judge them for it. It's so weird. It's so good. So it's like cake. It's a really well-made cake. You're gonna eat the cake. You're gonna keep going. You're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna enjoy the fuck out of it. But you don't like what you've become after you've eaten an entire cake. It's damn good that way, though. Damn good. Other favorites? Frozen, This Is the End. But top of that list is The Wolf of Wall Street, because it made me eat an entire cake,
So I finally got a chance to go see Inside Llewyn Davis the other night. And boy, am I glad I did, because unexpectedly, it very quickly has become my favorite film of 2013. I think it was the best film I saw all year. It was sad, it was funny, it was very true to life. It was written incredibly well. As a person who kind of lived in Brooklyn for a few years and struggled poorly to be a musician myself, I couldn't believe how well the Coen brothers wrote that kind of tragic lifestyle. It really was very believable. And, I went into the theater really not expecting this movie to be the thing that I thought was the best of 2013, because the Coen brothers and I have had kind of a torrid relationship in the past. I've really loved some of their previous work and then really, chagrined my way through some of their films. So this never, in my wildest imagination, would have been my pick. I honestly was expecting for Her to be the film that swept me off my feet. But surprisingly, Inside Llewyn Davis just absolutely blew me away.
Favorite movies, so tough, because things. Okay, I'm torn between two here. I'm a massive Evil Dead fan and was really surprised by how well they executed Evil Dead, the reboot. and really enjoyed it and thought it was just an awesome blood fest that was done really well. So, being an Evil Dead fan, that's probably my favorite. But the film critic inside of me loved Her. I thought Her was just one of the best shot films, directed, interesting story, everything. So I'm torn between those two, which are pretty much exact opposites in, plot, theme, substance, everything ever. But within their genres are just absolutely fantastic. So as a horror nerd, I have to come down on that side of Evil Dead, even though Her was awesome.
For 2013, my favorite movie was The Wolverine, and not so much for the fact of it's a great film, because it's really not a great film. It's a okay film, kind of good film. It's enjoyable. It's an enjoyable thing to watch. But what I would have to say that makes it the 2013 film for me, my favorite, is because it kind of gave life back into the Wolverine movies as a concept and as a thing, because the first movie totally killed it for me. I couldn't believe what they did to Deadpool, which is unforgivable. We'll never have a Deadpool movie because of what they did, because the people at Fox didn't know what the hell they were doing. I feel that this was like a saving grace. Like, it produced something that wasn't only enjoyable, but was very much a Wolverine sort of feel to it. Even though it wasn't like a perfect continuity thing with comic books, it took a past and future thing and combined them together, which I don't actually have a problem with. I think that was a good idea, considering the way that they're trying to consolidate all these, continuities together. And it's a really difficult process to think, okay, what should we do and stuff like that. But they overall did a good job. Even though they totally destroyed the whole Weapon X kind of timeline and things like that. So maybe in the future we'll have something better. But for now, this brought much needed closure to myself for movies. And, for the first, movie, you just gotta be like, giving that claw middle finger up in the air, because, that's basically, it almost ruined it. And, the Wolverine came in, did some really cool characters, brought some things from the comic, and did a really good job about it. So if you haven't seen it, go see it. It's not gonna blow your fucking mind, but you'll be entertained. You'll have a little bit of knowledge, kind of, what happens with Wolverine.
Yes, what is it, peasant? Oh, I see. You want to know my opinion for my favorite film of 2013? Oh, I will tell you. It must be Gravity. Now, Gravity, while it had an interesting cast of Sandra Bullock and George Clooney, the polar opposites of sexuality, I do believe they function relatively well together. Oh, it reminds me of my own escapades with Walt Disney before his whole mishap with the Nazis and his head being cryogenically frozen and set at the bottom of Disneyland. What? Oh, everybody knows that story. Oh, fine. Well, I'll leave it up to your imagination. I must actually be off to take care of my pterodactyl as he is getting his weekly trimming. Thanks for watching.